I was only a child when I first discovered bras. As a poor family, the youngest kids shared the parents' bedroom, and that is where Mom had her dresser, with lingerie, bras, slips, panties, etc. Young children are curious, and it only takes a moment for a child to see something soft and delicate, like a bra, to spark their interest. And so it was that, at the age of 5, I saw some bras lying on top of my mother's dresser. She must have just taken the bras out of the dryer and hadn't yet had time to put them away. The bras looked beautiful with their lace trim. I reached up and touched one of them. It felt so smooth, so soft, and so delicate. I was instantly fascinated. I remember thinking that Mom was so lucky to wear something so silky, and I wondered why boys didn't wear bras. For a long time, my mind stayed preoccupied with those lovely bras I saw on the dresser. I couldn't get them out of my head. I loved the way they looked. I loved the way they felt. I loved the thin, soft material they were made from. From that moment on, of all feminine clothing, I associated bras with femininity. As a child, I began to look at women differently. I would quietly wonder what kind of bra they might be wearing. I especially loved it when a woman wore a blouse that was light enough to reveal the outline of her bra. I also noticed that some women seemed more daring, letting their bras show through their clothes, while others kept them well concealed. I couldn't look away when I noticed a woman's bra outline beneath her blouse. It wasn't inappropriate. I was just captivated by the mystery, the elegance, the quiet confidence it seemed to represent. My mother was part of a newer generation, one that had moved beyond the strict dress codes of the past. She believed modesty had its place, but it didn't have to be taken to extremes. She didn't think women should be forced to hide every curve or wear clothing so thick that the outline of a bra had to be completely concealed. And she wasn't alone. Younger women began embracing lighter fabrics, blouses so sheer that not only the outline, but nearly the entire bra could be seen. By now, I was around 6 years old, and my fascination had only grown. I didn't fully understand it yet, but I often wondered, what did it feel like to wear a bra? I had touched a few before, quietly, when they were left out. I knew they were soft, delicate, and smooth. But that was all I knew. I had one sister, but being the only girl among 5 siblings, she had her own room, and the boys were never allowed in. So I never saw her bras or her other clothes. Still, I often wondered if she wore ones like Mom's. Then one night, just before bed, I noticed something different. Some bras were left on the dresser again, but these were smaller. Likely my sister's. Mom probably hadn't sorted the laundry yet. I couldn't help but stare. My curiosity was burning. And then I thought, this might be my chance to find out what it really felt like to wear one. As I slipped into bed, I reached over and grabbed one. Once under the covers, I took off my pajama top and gently slid the bra on. Because I shared the room with my parents, I had often seen my mom put on her bra, always careful to turn away so I wouldn't see too much. But in doing so, I had learned how she hooked it from behind. Somehow, it felt like second nature. In no time, I had it fastened. Then, with my pajama top back on, I experienced something new. The feeling of wearing a bra was heavenly. From that moment on, I knew wearing a bra was something I always wanted to experience again. As I gently ran my fingers across the fabric, the silky smoothness sent shivers up my spine. I was far too young to understand why it made me feel this way. All I knew was that it did. Of course, I knew I couldn't be caught. Before my parents came to bed each night, I'd carefully take it off and place it back on the dresser. But every time I removed it, I felt a twinge of sadness, like saying goodbye to a secret part of myself. Eventually, wearing a bra at night became a quiet ritual, a comfort, a secret, something I looked forward to whenever I spotted one on Mom's dresser. But like all good things, it didn't last forever. One night, everything changed. I was under the covers, wearing a bra, when I heard Mom coming up the stairs earlier than usual. I didn't have time to take it off. Panicking, I tried to stay still. But in my rush to hide the bra beneath the blanket, I moved too much and the blanket slipped down. I hoped she wouldn't notice. But as she came closer and reached to tuck me in, her hand paused. She saw it, just a glimpse of lace peeking out from my collar. "Are you wearing a bra?" she asked softly. I didn't answer. Gently, she pulled back the blanket and lifted my pajama top. There was no denying it. I was wearing one. But instead of getting angry, she just smiled and whispered, "Let me help you take it off before your father sees." I hated taking it off. I didn't fully understand why it mattered. Why boys weren't supposed to wear bras. But what stayed with me most was that Mom didn't scold me. Sure, she had caught me. But the world didn't end. I wasn't punished. And that small act of kindness encouraged me. After that night, I continued to wear a bra to bed whenever I could. Nothing felt more comforting. Lying there in the dark, the soft material against my chest, I didn't just feel safe. I felt like I was home. For months, maybe even a year, I wore a bra to bed at least once or twice a week. And each time, the feeling never got old. One night, I felt especially relaxed, and before I knew it, I fell asleep wearing a bra. That time, Mom didn't notice. But the next morning, everything changed. When she came in to wake me up, I jumped out of bed without thinking, completely forgetting I still had the bra on. The moment I stood up, she saw it. Thankfully, Dad had already left for work, so he didn't witness anything. Like before, Mom didn't get angry. She simply said, in a calm voice, "You'll need to take that off before getting dressed." So I went to the bathroom, washed my face, brushed my teeth, and came back. Then, without any fuss, Mom helped me take off the bra and get dressed for the day. She never really explained why I shouldn't wear one. Maybe she didn't see the need. Or maybe, because I wasn't in school yet, it didn't seem like a big deal. But shortly after that, I noticed something had changed. I no longer saw bras left out on the dresser. I figured Mom had decided it was best to put them away. Out of sight. Still, I missed the feeling. I missed that quiet comfort, the way wearing a bra had become my personal bedtime ritual. I thought to myself, if they're not on the dresser, maybe they're somewhere else. I could have gone into Mom's drawer, but I worried she'd notice something was missing. Then one night, as I got ready for bed, I glanced at the hamper. And there they were. Several bras, some large, some smaller. Likely my sister's. I quietly took one of the smaller ones, tiptoed back to the bedroom, and slipped it on. Then I pulled my pajama top over it and crawled into bed. Once again, I was wrapped in that familiar feeling. That soft, silky fabric against my skin. That quiet happiness that made everything feel right. And since Mom had never scolded me for it, I let myself enjoy it, fully and peacefully. I stopped worrying about taking off the bra before Mom came upstairs. After quietly lying in bed for a while, gently caressing the soft fabric, I eventually drifted off to sleep. The next morning, I woke up still wearing it. I waited patiently until I heard Mom in the bathroom, then quickly got out of bed and took the bra off. But instead of returning it to the hamper, I made a mistake. I hid it under my blanket. That turned out to be a bad idea. Later that day, when Mom came in to make the bed, she found the bra. She didn't say anything about it, but I knew she had seen it because that night it was gone. I figured I'd just have to retrieve another one from the hamper when the timing was right. But I didn't dare go back that same night. I worried Mom might be checking more carefully now. So, for the next few nights, I went to bed without a bra. When I finally felt it was safe again, I took one from the hamper on my way to the bedroom. That night, slipping it on once more, I felt complete. Wearing it brought such a sense of calm, like everything in the world made sense. And this time, I remembered to return it in the morning. At this point, I was completely hooked on the comfort of wearing a bra to bed, and it seemed like Mom had stopped checking altogether. That gave me a little more confidence. Then, something else caught my eye. Besides the bras in the hamper or on the dresser, I began to notice other pieces of lingerie, just as silky, just as intriguing. I couldn't help but wonder, What would it feel like to wear one of those along with a bra? One day, I peeked into the hamper and saw several bras and a few slips. So, I made a quiet decision. That night, I would try both. I carefully picked out a bra and a slip, then tucked them away under my blanket, ready to experience something new. I couldn't wait for bedtime. That night, I was excited, not just to wear a bra again, but to try something new, a slip. It felt like stepping into an entirely different world. I didn't have the words for it back then, but deep down, I knew this was something special. I didn't associate it with femininity just yet. I only knew that wearing a bra and a slip felt incredibly comforting. That night, wrapped in the soft layers, I didn't even bother with my pajamas. I lay under the covers, content and warm, slowly drifting toward sleep. But then, the door creaked open. Mom was coming to check on me. I wasn't fully asleep, and in a flash, I realized that if she pulled up the blanket even a little, she'd see exactly what I was wearing. I stayed perfectly still, pretending to be fast asleep, hoping she wouldn't notice. But she did. As she adjusted my blanket, she pulled it back slightly to grab the bed sheet underneath, and that's when she saw it. The bra, the slip, everything. She didn't say a word. Maybe I looked too peaceful, too tired, or maybe she was just trying to process what she had seen. The next morning, Mom greeted me with a smile. "Were you warm enough last night?" she asked gently. I had completely forgotten what I'd worn and asked, "Why? Did I look cold?" She smiled again and said, "Well, I saw you weren't wearing your pajamas, just a slip and a bra." Still unaware that this wasn't normal for boys, I answered simply and honestly. "Yes, Mom. The slip and bra kept me warm." That was the first time we actually talked about it. She asked how it felt wearing them. I told her the truth, that the soft fabric felt better than any of my pajamas ever had. Then she asked, "Have you worn a slip to bed before?" I told her this was the first time. I think she wanted to know how deep this went, how much it meant to me. For about 2 weeks after that, I noticed something strange. No more bras. No more slips in the hamper. It felt like an eternity. Then one day, they appeared again, but not in the hamper. They were neatly folded, right there on Mom's dresser. And from that moment on, for the next 6 years, my quiet bedtime ritual continued. By now, wearing a bra and slip to bed had become my routine. I was 13 years old, and what started as curiosity had grown into something deeply comforting. But Mom had been wondering, was this just a phase I'd eventually grow out of? Or was it something more? She came up with a subtle plan. One evening, instead of putting the laundry in the hamper or on her usual side of the dresser, she placed a bra and a slip on the far end, closer to my side of the bed. Almost like an unspoken invitation. As if to say, if you still want these, they're right here. It felt like a test. But I didn't hesitate. I quietly took the bra and slip, ducked into the closet to put them on, and jumped into bed with a smile on my face. Later that night, Mom came in to adjust my blanket. I was still awake, and I saw her glance down and smile. She had seen. The next morning, just as I was about to get up and change, Mom came in. "I saw that you were wearing a slip and bra last night," she said kindly. "You looked so happy." She continued, "When you first started wearing bras to bed 6 years ago, I honestly thought it was something you'd outgrow. But I can see now you still love it just as much." Then she added something I didn't expect. "It's Saturday. You don't have to take them off. You can leave them on today." I was stunned and thrilled. At my age, I had started to worry that she might not approve anymore. I was older. This wasn't a childhood habit anymore. It was something I still genuinely loved. And to hear her say it was okay meant everything. Just as I was stepping out of the bathroom, Mom walked in carrying more laundry, bras, slips, and other soft garments, placing them neatly on her bed. She didn't say anything else. She didn't need to. Before putting away her laundry, Mom called me over to her bed. She began sorting through a pile of bras, slips, and other pieces of lingerie. Then, holding up a short, delicate garment. She looked at me thoughtfully. If you're going to wear a bra and slip during the day, she said gently, it might be a bit tricky. I asked her why. Well, she explained, wearing a bra isn't a problem. But a full slip? That would be hard to tuck into your pants. Then she told me she had gone through some of my sister's old clothes, things she no longer wore, and found a few items that might fit me better. These were your sister's, she said kindly. They're older but still in good shape. She handed me the short piece of lingerie. This is a camisole, she explained. It's meant to be worn over a bra. It's shorter than a slip, so it'll work better under regular clothes. While I was still absorbing all of this, she helped me remove the bra and slip I had worn to bed. Then she helped me into a new bra and gently slipped the camisole over my head, adjusting it softly. I'm giving you this bra and camisole, she said with a warm smile. There are more in the laundry. Once they're clean, I'll keep them in the dresser next to mine. She continued, at night, you can still wear a bra and a slip. But for the daytime, just wear a bra and switch to a camisole. I could hardly believe it. I was overjoyed. From that moment forward, I had a quiet little routine. Every night, I went to bed in a bra and slip. And during the day, especially after school and on weekends, I wore a bra and camisole underneath my regular clothes. It brought me comfort, confidence, and most importantly, it felt like I was finally being accepted for who I was. For the next several weeks, this became my new normal. And it was everything I had quietly wished for. It became clear over time, Mom didn't seem to mind that I enjoyed wearing bras and camisoles. Maybe she assumed it was just a phase I'd eventually grow out of. But as I moved deeper into my teen years, the opposite happened. My connection to wearing bras and camisoles only grew stronger. I never missed a chance to wear one, whether it was bedtime, after school, or weekends. And Mom definitely noticed. One day, she brought it up casually. You might want to try different styles and colors, she said. Curious, I asked her what kinds of bras she meant. She began explaining. There were different styles, different fits, and she also introduced the concept of bra sizes. Some were padded, some weren't. There were even special ones called training bras, which were designed for comfort and a more natural shape. Then she said something unexpected. Think about what color you'd like to try. I hadn't really considered that before. So I told her honestly, whatever you choose is fine with me. A week later, she went shopping and returned with a small bag and a knowing smile. Inside were at least 9 bras. Red, black, pink, and white. That should be enough for every day, she said, plus a couple extras. But she didn't stop there. She had also picked out matching slips and camisoles, coordinated sets that looked soft, light, and elegant. I noticed right away that these bras were smaller than the ones I'd been wearing before, my sister's hand-me-downs. So I asked her why. She explained that the ones I'd worn to bed didn't need to be discreet. But during the day, a bulkier bra would be more noticeable under my clothes. These new ones, she said, were slimmer and tighter fitting, ideal for layering beneath regular outfits. They're called training bras, she explained. They're more subtle, but still give you the comfort you like. And, just like that, something shifted again. Not only was Mom okay with what I wore, she was actively helping me feel more confident in it. As Mom continued explaining bra sizes and styles, I could barely focus. All I could think about was trying on the new bras, slips, and camisoles she had just given me. She must have noticed the excitement on my face, because she reached over, picked up a soft pink bra, and asked gently, "Would you like to try this one on?" My hands trembled as I reached for it. I was just about to head to the bathroom when she stopped me with a warm smile. "Honey," she said, "you don't need to hide anymore. I know how much you enjoy wearing lingerie. That's exactly why I got these for you. Instead of borrowing mine or your sister's, you have your own now." She held out a camisole too. "Here," she added, "let me help you." As she helped me into the bra and cami, I immediately noticed the difference. This wasn't like anything I had worn before. The fit was snug, gentle, but secure. It hugged my skin perfectly. The sensation was unlike anything I had felt. It felt right. I couldn't help but smile, this time, not because I was hiding, but because I finally felt seen. Mom noticed. "I can tell you love having your own," she said. "These fit you. They're yours. And you can wear them with or without a cami, depending on how you feel." Then she added something important. "If it's just us at home, I don't mind if your bra outline shows through your shirt. But if your sister or dad is around, it's best to wear a cami on top, just to keep things discreet." I nodded. And from that moment on, everything changed. For the next several months, I wore a bra and slipped to bed every single night. During the day, whenever I was home, I'd wear a bra and camisole under my clothes. It became a part of who I was, comfortable, familiar, and quietly empowering. Eventually, it even felt like a portion of the laundry always included my bras, slips, and camisoles. And for once, that felt normal. One afternoon, when I got home from school, Mom greeted me with a casual update. She had done the laundry, but since most of it consisted of my bras and slips, she didn't have room to wash my after-school shirts. "Don't worry," she said. "I'm sure we'll find something for you to wear." After changing into one of my favorite sets, a black bra and matching camisole, I headed downstairs without a shirt, feeling relaxed and confident. Mom took one look and smiled. "Someone's feeling bold today, wearing black, huh?" I blushed. "Why do you say that?" She chuckled and explained that women often choose bra colors based on how they're feeling, sometimes for style, sometimes for mood. It was more than I'd ever known about something I thought I understood. Once the conversation shifted, she handed me a shirt and said it would pair nicely with what I was wearing. As I slipped it on, I noticed something odd. The buttons felt different. I couldn't fasten them the way I normally would. Confused, I looked at her. Mom smiled. "It's not the bra causing the trouble. That's a blouse. Women's shirts have buttons on the opposite side." Then she added, "Since your shirts are still in the wash and you're already wearing a bra and cami, I figured this would be just right." It wasn't overly feminine in design, but it fit comfortably over the bra. Unless someone looked closely, nothing about it stood out. But I noticed, and that small detail made all the difference. For the first time, I wasn't just wearing a bra and cami, I was wearing a blouse over them. And that gave me a new kind of confidence, a feeling I hadn't expected. Wearing bras had become so routine that some of the magic had faded. But now, with this new layer, I felt something fresh and exciting. A quiet sense of joy, and yes, a little thrill. When my dad and sister got home, no one said anything. My sister did ask why I was wearing that kind of shirt, but if she noticed my bra outline, she gave no sign of it. Mom simply told her that all my regular shirts were in the laundry. She didn't say anything else, but she definitely noticed how much I enjoyed wearing that blouse. Maybe she realized it made me feel more comfortable in myself, more expressive, and maybe even a little more confident. From then on, shirt laundry day seemed to happen a bit more often. And I didn't mind one bit. Mom did mention that my baby fat had faded and my chest was now very flat. Maybe that's why she thought a more fitted look worked best. But for me, it wasn't about shape. It was about how it made me feel. And in that moment, I felt completely me. I think Mom realized that if I was going to keep wearing bras, they should give a bit of shape, especially under a blouse. That's when she brought it up. "If you're still interested in wearing bras," she said, "we'll need to get you ones that add just a little more definition." To show me what she meant, she grabbed an old pair of nylons, cut them in half, and gently tucked them into the cups of my bra. "We don't want it to look too big," she explained. "Just enough to give you the shape you had before you grew out of your baby fat." Once she was done, I slipped on a blouse and the effect was instant. I looked in the mirror and smiled. I couldn't deny it. I liked the way I looked. And Mom noticed. "That blouse looks so much better on you now," she said with a grin. "That's exactly why I said you need new bras." That evening, my sister casually mentioned how nice my shirt looked. She had no idea I was wearing a padded bra underneath, but the compliment meant everything to me. Mom caught the comment, too, and she seemed pleased. Not long after, she went out shopping again, and this time came back with a dozen new bras, just for me. They were all size 36B, lightly padded. Some were plain, others had lace trim, and a few had full lace cups. When she showed them to me, I was overwhelmed. I couldn't hold back. I hugged her tightly and almost cried. "Mom," I said, "I don't know why I love wearing bras so much, but thank you. Thank you for supporting me and not thinking I'm strange." She looked me in the eye and said softly, "Tara, I know this isn't going away. You truly love wearing bras, slips, and camisoles. And once someone starts enjoying feminine clothing like this, it usually becomes part of who they are." Then she asked me something that surprised me. "Do you think you're ready to try more than just bras and camis?" I was stunned. I was already so happy wearing bras and camisoles at home, but what would more look like? I asked her what she had in mind. She smiled. Turns out, she had already thought ahead. When she bought my new bras, she had also picked up a dozen pairs of panties, just waiting for the right moment. And that moment came a few days later. I had just come home from school and was in the middle of changing clothes when Mom walked in, holding a pair of black panties. "Try these," she said. "They'll match perfectly with your black bra and cami." I tried not to look too eager, but I was thrilled. As soon as she stepped out for a moment, I slipped out of my shorts and pulled on the panties. Perfect fit. Perfect match. Bra, camisole, panties, pants, everything felt right. The only thing missing was a top. I walked over to my closet to look for something, but before I could decide, Mom returned, carrying a blouse she thought would go nicely with my padded bra. She handed it to me, and as I slipped it on, I felt that same familiar comfort, but this time, more complete. I couldn't help but smile. It wasn't long ago that I was quietly borrowing bras in secret. Now, Mom and I were openly referring to them as my bras. As I admired the blouse in the mirror, I asked Mom, "Do you think my sister will notice I'm wearing a bra under this?" She smiled gently and said, "No. She has no reason to suspect anything." And in that moment, I felt more accepted, more supported, and more myself than ever before. I figured if my sister didn't suspect I was wearing a bra, she wouldn't look too closely, especially since I was careful to blend in. Still, deep down, I sometimes wished I could share this side of my life with her. Dinner came and went, and I quietly celebrated a small victory. Neither my dad nor my sister seemed to notice anything unusual. My sister did ask about the blouse I was wearing, though. "Where'd you get that?" she asked. I told her the truth. Well, partially. I said that Mom gave it to me. What I didn't mention was that Mom had suggested it specifically because it would look nicer over my bra than my usual shirts. As the weather warmed up, I started to worry. Wearing a bra under heavy winter clothes had been easy to hide, but summer? That would be different. I briefly considered stopping for a while. But the thought of giving up bras, camis, and panties, things that had become so much a part of me, felt like losing a piece of who I was. Meanwhile, Mom seemed to be finding more and more blouses for me to wear. She always reminded me how much better they fit over a bra than any of my regular shirts. By the time my sister got home each day, I was already dressed, in a bra, camisole, and panties. She never suspected. In fact, she started complimenting me more often. "You've been looking really nice lately," she said one day. "Maybe Mom should wash all your shirts at the same time more often." She still thought the blouses were just a temporary fix while my shirts were in the wash. She had no idea what I was really wearing underneath. Then one day, Mom asked me something that surprised me. "Do you plan to keep wearing your bras during the summer?" By then, I was so comfortable in my routine, wearing a bra, cami, and panties after school, even going out shopping like that. It had become second nature. And yes, sometimes I even wore a blouse out too. Curious, I asked Mom where all these blouses were coming from. I knew they weren't hers. She wore a different size. And they didn't belong to my sister either. That's when she told me the truth. The last time she went shopping for bras, she also picked up a dozen blouses, just for me. Not too feminine, but stylish enough to complement my bras. She wanted me to have tops that gave me the right look, without drawing unnecessary attention. That was the moment I realized something important. Mom had fully accepted me. She no longer saw this as a phase. She understood that this was part of who I was. And in her own quiet, supportive way, she was helping me express it. By this point, Mom fully expected that I'd continue wearing bras through the summer, and I agreed. As the warm weather rolled in, she started handing me lighter blouses to wear. One day, I noticed the fabric was much thinner than usual. She explained, "Since it's a darker color, your bra outline won't show." That helped ease my nerves. But when I looked in the mirror, I noticed something different. The thinner fabric allowed my bra to press out a little more than usual, giving my chest a slightly fuller shape. And if I looked closely, I could even make out a faint outline beneath the blouse. A wave of panic hit me. I rushed to Mom and admitted, "I'm worried. What if my sister or dad notices?" She calmed me right away. "Your bra isn't visible," she reassured me. "And even if someone did look closely, it's not the end of the world." That night at dinner, everything felt normal. We chatted, shared stories, and no one said a word about what I was wearing. I had worried for nothing. Still, as much as I wanted to keep it hidden, a small part of me wished I could be open, especially with my sister. I wanted her to understand this part of me. As the weeks passed, wearing a blouse over my bra became part of my daily routine. Then, one evening at dinner, my sister finally asked, "Why is he wearing blouses all the time now instead of regular shirts?" If she suspected anything more, she didn't say it. Mom answered casually, "Blouses just fit his smaller frame better than boy shirts." I breathed a quiet sigh of relief. My sister seemed to accept that explanation without asking anything further. She never guessed I was also wearing a bra. One Saturday, while getting dressed, I searched for my red cami to match my red bra. I couldn't find it. Still, I put on the red bra and checked my closet. Mom had hung all the blouses she'd bought for me, making it easy to choose one that matched. I picked a blouse, slipped it on, and glanced at myself in the mirror. The bra was thin, and I couldn't help but wonder if the outline might be too noticeable. But I reminded myself that my sister had already left for a shopping trip with her friends. So, I decided to go shopping too. And for the first time, it truly hit me. I was about to step out into the world, into public, wearing a bra under a blouse. And maybe, just maybe, someone might take a second look. As I stood in front of the mirror, I wondered, if someone looked twice, would it be because of the shape of my chest, or because they noticed the outline of my bra? I didn't want to give up wearing it, especially not now. So I decided to do something subtle. Brush my hair with a little more care than usual. I wanted a softer, more polished look, something that would match the gentle feel of the bra and blouse I was wearing. But truth be told, I wasn't sure how to style it that way. So I asked Mom for help. She brushed my hair with practiced hands, gently shaping it until she was satisfied with the look. Then, without saying much, she trimmed my eyebrows slightly. When she finished, she smiled at me. Before I left, she said, "I'm glad you're choosing to wear a bra under your blouse today, even with the heat." Maybe she thought I had changed my mind about wearing a bra on hot days. But really, I just couldn't imagine leaving the house without one anymore. Still, I asked, a little nervously, "Can you see it?" "Through the blouse." She checked and said, "No, it's not easily visible." "You're fine." With that reassurance, I turned toward the door. "Wait," she said, stopping me. "Look in the mirror. See how nice you look, how soft the blouse falls over your shape. It's such a gentler look than your boy shirts." I smiled. At the mall, I noticed something odd. A few girls looked at me longer than usual. Was it the blouse? The hair? The shape? I hoped it wasn't because they realized I was wearing a bra. The idea of someone discovering my secret felt terrifying. I thought, what if people found out that a boy was wearing a bra and panties? The thought made me anxious, but I pushed through. I reminded myself that this was something I loved, something that brought me comfort and peace. I wasn't going to hide in the shadows of fear anymore. So I walked into a few stores, just like anyone else would. And, being someone deeply fond of lingerie, I was naturally drawn to a women's boutique. Without hesitation, I walked straight into the lingerie section and admired the rows of bras and camisoles. A store clerk approached with a friendly smile. "Can I help you find something?" I took a breath and replied, "Yes, I'm looking for a bra and panty set for my girlfriend's birthday." And just like that, I felt a small sense of freedom. Walking through the world a little more like myself, the clerk smiled at me warmly and said something unexpected. "I'm proud of you," she said. "Most guys wouldn't have the courage to walk into a store and shop for lingerie. It takes confidence." Then she asked what size bra I was looking for. I told her I wasn't exactly sure. It was supposed to be a gift for someone my size and build. She nodded thoughtfully and said, "In that case, let me make a suggestion. Take a few bras into the fitting room and try them on. If they fit you well, chances are they'll fit her too." As she spoke, she held a 38C bra up to my chest and added, "Exactly what I thought. This should be a good fit. But let's be sure." With nervous hands, I accepted the bras and headed toward the fitting room. I couldn't believe it. I was actually trying on bras in a store, openly. Later, as I approached the register with my items, several bras and panties, the store was quiet. No other customers were around. The clerk turned to me again and said, "Before you check out, I have one more idea. If you really want this to be the perfect gift, try one more bra on. I'll come by to check the fit." Stunned but curious, I agreed. When I put the bra on and called her in, she returned carrying 2 small boxes. "These," she said, "will give the bra its perfect shape." She pulled out 2 silicone inserts, bra enhancers, and gently placed them inside the cups. The effect was immediate. I looked at myself in the mirror and felt transformed, feminine, almost as if the bra now belonged to me in a way it never had before. She looked at me with a playful smile. "Now you can get a real sense of what your girlfriend will feel like wearing a bra like this." I half laughed and said, "With these inserts, I'll definitely turn heads." She replied, "No one will think twice if you look like a girl." I chuckled, admitting, well, wearing a bra doesn't exactly change my face. But the clerk wasn't done. "Keep the bra on," she said. "Wait here." I stayed in the fitting room, looking at my reflection, still in awe of how natural the bra looked, how it made me feel. I couldn't help but think, if she knew these bras were really for me, not a girlfriend, what would she say? When she came back, she was holding a small cosmetic bag. "Keep the bra on," she said, "and put your blouse back on." That caught her attention. "You're wearing a blouse?" she asked. I had tucked my original bra into a shopping bag and wasn't ready to admit the real reason behind my outfit. So I gave a careful response. "My mom thinks blouses fit better on me because I'm small," I said. She seemed satisfied with that explanation and didn't ask further. Then, gently but confidently, she offered, "If you're open to it, I can help adjust your appearance, just enough so that you can wear that bra out comfortably. No one would suspect a thing." I hesitated, then nodded. "I'm ready," I told her. "Whatever you think is necessary." And in that moment, something changed. I was no longer just a nervous shopper. I was becoming someone, more myself than I'd ever been before. As I stood in the fitting room, still wearing the padded bra and breast forms, the clerk turned to me and smiled. "If you'd like to wear the bra with the forms," she said gently, "you absolutely can. They're yours." I blinked, surprised. "But I haven't paid for those." She explained that someone had returned the breast forms and store policy wouldn't allow her to sell them again, so she was giving them to me, free of charge. While I admired how the bra now shaped my body, she got to work applying makeup. A bit of foundation, some blush, mascara, and then lipstick. When I looked in the mirror, I was stunned. I didn't just feel feminine. I looked it. "You're ready," she said, but then smiled again. Actually, not quite. One more thing. A few minutes later, she returned with a pair of women's jeans and sandals. These will complete the look, she said. You can't walk out of here in boys' jeans and sneakers, not with your blouse, makeup, and that beautiful bra. And she was right. So I tried them on and they fit perfectly. I paid for the items, still pretending they were for someone else. Thank you for helping me pick out a great bra for my girlfriend, I said, smiling shyly. And for choosing jeans and shoes I could wear without standing out. She grinned at me warmly. Girlfriend, she said, you look fantastic. Enjoy your new bras and panties, and next time you need more, come back and see me. Floating on air, I stepped out into the mall, my new look complete. With every step, I could feel the gentle bounce of the breast forms inside my bra. The soft hug of the blouse, the snug fit of the jeans, the light touch of the sandals, it all felt surreal. As I passed a group of boys, I heard a whistle. They thought I was just another girl walking by, completely unaware that just a short time ago, I had come in as someone entirely different. A rush of emotions swept through me. I was fully dressed as a woman. Bra, camisole, panties, jeans, sandals, makeup. And for the first time, I was outside, in public, truly being me. It felt like a dream come true. But soon, the reality crept in. Eventually, I would have to go home, take off the jeans, the blouse, the makeup, the bra. I'd have to return to the role everyone expected me to play. I didn't want to. I stayed at the mall until my feet ached. When I had left the house, Mom knew I was wearing a bra and a blouse. But this was more. I looked completely like a girl now. And I didn't want to shock her. So I decided to call her. I told her I couldn't resist buying myself some bras, and then I carefully began explaining everything that had happened.